Good morning, Year 7s. How are you? Well, I hope you've had a good week, and I hope you've managed to do a little bit on your illuminated letter, which we're looking at as we study that famous book from down the road, the Luttrell Psalter. And perhaps you'll remember that what we did last week was to think about the early stages of constructing that letter, and we did the outline, in my case, of an A. And you can see that through the week I've been working on this and gone back to it a few times and built it up with pattern that's just decoration. So they've got these little pink bubbles around it, and then red on the background, and some blues and oranges in there. And then in the internal part, as I said I would do, I've drawn my whippet, Zippy, and he's running around the edge on the grass, and he's chasing a rabbit into its burrow. And here's a little badger, and the snail, and the beehive, and plants, and all of the things to do with nature and the outside world. And a person in medieval Lincolnshire will probably recognise this, even all of these hundreds and hundreds of years later. So, I think you can do something similar, and hopefully you're already halfway there. And I've done this in a combination of felt tip pens and watercolours. And I've got my felt tips and these watercolours which I use. This is such a dirty old watercolour set, but it works. I keep the colour clean, and then I use these type of felt tip pens, and I've done some of the lines with those to make it look really nice. And we're about halfway there. Now, I've got lots of art books, and one of these art books is all about illuminated manuscripts, and I was having a look, and I'm going to show you an illumination now. Now, these pages were absolutely wonderful. So there's a little bit of writing here, but there's a lot of picture. So if you were looking at it all of those years ago, you would have had a lot to get your teeth into. You would have been able to read the words and the story. And then you would have been able to look for a long time at the illustration. So here's a dog by a lake, and there's a person, and obviously he's looking at the dog, seeing what's going on here. There's a lady in the background hiding in a cave, and beyond that there are ships out at sea. So much going on. And that's before we even start to look at what we call the margin, the marginalia. And in the margin we can see there are the crests and shields of all of the people involved in the story. Some other little people that were also characters that are going to be involved in what's going on in the book. The symbols of the people that perhaps own the book. So this is the royal symbol, this is the Tudor rose. More royal flags and symbols. Here's an angel, we can see from the wings, holding the staff of the flag. And lots of lovely garden birds. There's a goldfinch and a chaffinch. And then all of this exquisite work of nature. And there are twigs and leaves and acorns and nuts and flowers filling every available little spot. It's taken a very patient person a very great deal of time. But it's worth it, because look at this page. Wow! How beautiful. So we're going to have a bash at making our letter in that same general ballpark. So let me move my book. And this is how we do it. What we can do is take something a bit circular. So for instance, I've got my water jar here, and I can put the water jar that I use for my watercolours on there, and gently with a pencil I'm going to start to draw curvy shapes from the bottom of the water jar, very, very gently, nothing too rough and tough here, because we just need these curly shapes, and these curly shapes I'm going to thicken and turn them into twigs and branches, and I would work all the way down here. So I'm going to use these lovely shapes and make them the twigs of a tree, and then on the twigs I'm going to put leaf shapes. To colour them in, and I may even put a bird in here. Let's put a bird in. Here he is, and he's going to be singing away. Lovely bird. And I'll colour him in. More leaves, maybe some of these little round nut shapes that they had, or acorns. And I could even put little insects in there, maybe bumblebees, and try and fill this whole area. And then I will take my watercolour set, and I'm going to get brown, and very, very gently I'm going to start to colour in the twig. Real careful, not rushing, just enjoying the moment, enjoying the process, having fun, perhaps listening to some music or something while I'm doing it. Just a little bit of green there. Put some soft green in here. And I build up the leaves. Slowly, slowly, slowly. We're in no crazy rush to get it finished. We've got these long days now, so we can spend time doing this and getting it right. The bell's not going to go, and we don't have to rush down the stairs to get to another lesson. We can spend a long time getting this looking absolutely lovely. And I would like you to fill all of that in with natural forms, twigs and leaves and stuff. And then underneath here on my one I'm going to put in a little landscape, so you can see I've already put some trees in, and there's going to be some hills, and then there's going to be a winding river. But what I've also done to show you how it's going to look when it's finished, and this is a bit of a cheat really because you didn't know this was here, is I spent the last few hours this morning doing this side. So if you do what I've asked on this side, it will end up looking like this. And we have just got the pattern here of the lovely curly tree, and there's a robin singing away, and all of the leaves and the nuts filling up this space and making it look really wonderful. And when I've done both sides, and certainly then when I put the pond underneath with some little trees, this is going to look absolutely magnificent. And then there's some even more to go on the sides, and we're going to put pure pattern in there. But that's a lesson for another week. And so Year 7, this week I want us to continue with our Luttrell Psalter project to make the illuminated letter as super duper as we possibly can, and then to start putting some more of this patternation in here in the marginalia. Well, I hope you can do that, and I hope it looks really wonderful, because soon I'm going to be asking you to post some of your results online. So have a good time, enjoy it, stay safe, and I will speak to you next week. Bye.